Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in?
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
This is the Abby Normal Podcast, here to tell you that you're weird, and that's normal. Some of our precious technology companies have been in the news lately for making poor choices that basically lead to the downfall of society. But I can tell you that here in the Bay Area, a hop skip away from Silicon Valley, we're all just looking for that tech paycheck. So if they say something like,
"We've got this top secret project,"
or like,
"You're going to be helping an artificial intelligence,"
then a lot of us are like, cool, where do I sign up? Because though a lot of what these companies do is malicious, a good percentage are also just stupid.
Tiny spaceships.
Tiny spaceships.
Tiny spaceships.
Charlie and Jess, not their real names, have a tale to tell about
all these dreams and aspirations.
both their own and those of a Fortune 100 tech company. The company did announce this thing that they're talking about, but this is the first behind-the-scenes look at its launch and downfall from the inside, meaning from those on the ground, not a powerful tech mogul. Let's start at the beginning, how they even got involved.
I was working sales, and it was like the most garbage sales job in the whole world. Like, I was driving around from like Walmart to Walmart trying to sell like a specific product, and it was like just terrible. I was working with like Walmart managers and like backroom people, and like, "Do you want to order like $20,000 worth more?" And they were like, "No." And then I just have to be like, "Really? No?" And they're like, "Yeah, no." And I just had to like badger them. And it was just the worst. I was like so right. I was looking for something to get out of there. And like, I was getting hit up on LinkedIn all the time for more sales jobs. And I was like, no, like I need to get out of sales.
I was at a retail store, just working like a normal sales job, like 9 to 5, and just basically just a regular job.
So I got this random recruiter that was like, "Hey, we've got this like top secret project at like a Fortune 500 company in the Bay Area. It's a really important project." And I was just all in. Like, I really didn't really care what it was. I was like, it's a desk job. I'm in. I don't have to drive around from Walmarts to Walmarts all day.
In my case, it was a referral from someone I knew that worked at the company. It was like, "Hey, there's this crazy project. It's very ambitious. It's something they like, first time ever. Do you want to like participate? This is a great opportunity."
I went and interviewed. It was like one quick interview, and they're like, "You got it."
And so, of course, I was like, "Yeah, I'm in. I've love this opportunity." I was there almost at the beginning of when the project started. So it was just, to me, it was literally like, oh, the promised land. Like, this is literally like where the future is going to be at.
Really?
And so it was kind of like, yeah, do you want to join? Yes, of course. And then I interviewed. Everything went really well.
So excited. And like the first day was unbelievable because we were on the main campus, and it was like Disney Fantasyland, like of everything you can imagine. And I was like, this is amazing, like free food. This is amazing.
And I quickly joined the team, and then I was one of like the more senior people that were like helping onboarding people. And so these sold classes, because of course they're trying to literally like fill this project as fast as possible with anyone that is willing to do the work on that whole like aspiration of like, oh, this is going to be like the future. There could be potentially like a pillar of the business. Like that's how they sold it to me. So obviously it's like, you're going to be at the floor level of the pillar of the next pillar of this huge business. Obviously, where's it going to go? It's going to obviously go to the sky or something.
And we started with classes. So they called them classes. So you would start with like a group, and it was like every couple months there'd be a new class on the project. Mm-hmm. And everyone that comes in was so excited and like, oh, like I'm here, I'm working for this amazing company. Like I'm going to like get my foot in the door and get a full-time job and like be director of marketing in like 3 years.
So basically, it was their dream job. But what were they actually doing?
And basically what they sold it to me as is like, you're gonna be helping an artificial intelligence learn how to make reservations and like do all this. So like you're gonna be doing the data of it to make sure that you like tagging the data properly and like all that information. And I was just like, okay, I'm in. I really don't care. Like I hate sales. I'm like totally out.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to start hiring people to do this job. They wanted them to have like, you know, retail experience because then they would have customer service.
Yes.
Okay.
Therefore, they'd be good on the phone talking to another person.
Exactly.
Right.
They have that touch.
So they started hiring people that were like, you know, they used to work at like a flight call center.
Sure,
like they
sure.
were
Yeah,
looking for customer
hotels.
service background.
Right.
So they would get people that worked at the Macy's makeup counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the goal was basically like artificial intelligence.
It
like,
would learn to do it by itself. It would be
learn
able to
how
make
to-
reservations for you. If you
Yeah.
lost your glove on a train, it's going to call the train station, it's going to find that glove and ship it back to you.
Oh yeah,
Like, that's what
That's kind of like what
that's
they were
kind
saying.
of what they
Like,
were saying.
It was
like,
going to be the future.
We were going to help this AI learn how to do all these things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like-
and so they needed people to kind of like help get the ball rolling and like teach the AI how to have conversations and how to complete tasks and like track all that. And then through machine learning, it'll eventually learn how to do it by itself. That was the original idea. That was the very origin of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was like an app, right? So the people that had access to it, which initially started with employees, and then they opened it up to like
A certain like area
in a certain
in California,
area.
literally.
We never really knew exactly how they chose who they opened it up
No,
to.
it was very random. I do remember the place, but like it was just it was a very small sample.
Yeah, it was like
very
maybe like 10,000 people,
less,
maybe
probably less.
5,000
Maybe,
people.
yeah, like
so they had
5,000.
access to be able to message this AI
Yeah.
bot.
And it was 24 hours, so we had 3 shifts covering every single hour of the day.
I'd like to begin with a fact.
Like jump to 2 years later, we're literally like
The only thing the AI did, like someone would like, well, I guess we haven't described exactly what it is, but someone
Yeah.
would message into the product and be like, hi. And the only thing the AI did was like, hi.
Yeah.
That was literally, by 2 years later, that was all it did.
Yeah, definitely. Or the weather, like
Yeah,
what's the
it
weather?
could do the weather, say hi back,
Or reminders.
Yeah.
They could do reminders. Like, hey, remind me to say this on Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
This coming week.
Yeah.
like whatever it is.
Thanks, Alexa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
literally.
We all knew, like, after a while, we all knew.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
'cause-
there's no way that this thing is learning anything.
And because the project was so new to the company, they obviously were like, oh, we're going to be very flexible on what we do. So like whatever comes in, like just help take care of it. Like no matter what, it's going to be a learning opportunity. And so they initially made it available to just employees. And so we would get the craziest messages because people thought it was an AI. But they didn't know that there's like a team of humans that are literally behind the keyboard, just like
they sold
reading
it to
everything.
us like the AI is gonna learn from what we do and then be able to do it on its own.
Right.
But
right.
that just never happened.
The people using this new app, we'll call it Requester, are employees and what I assume to be beta testers. They do not know that what they are interacting with is actually a human being. That is not cool. Customers would like type in their app, send a message to Requester, and be like, reservations, Michael Mina, tonight, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
They're thinking that the Requester, the bot,
Yeah.
is making the
taking care of everything.
Making the reservation.
And
A lot of people thought that we had somehow hooked into restaurant reservation programs.
Sure. Yeah, I would
to
think
get
that.
access to it.
Yeah.
They didn't think that we were calling. They thought that this company had access to reservation books on every freaking restaurant in the world, and we're able to just like make
Lots of French laundry requests.
Yes. Everybody wanted a French laundry reservation, which was just, and then we also got banned from some restaurants.
Oh yeah, we couldn't
Really?
call. We couldn't call
anymore.
restaurants.
So this was the funny part is that if you message into Requester and say like, I want a reservation at, Michael Mina, I would have to call Michael Mina, right? And our calls would be through this program. They made this like makeshift program that everything ran through. It was pretty much just a bunch of code thrown together to make it work. So they had recordings on all the calls that we did.
Oh, okay.
So that way, if this person checks back in and was like, hey, what time is my reservation at again? You, like, or another person working could be like, okay, let me go listen to the call and make sure that this is the right time.
Gosh.
Yeah.
However, in California, if you record a phone call, you by law have to tell the person that you are recording them.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh, right.
So how it went would be like, we all like had fake names. It would be like, hi, my name's Rebecca. Like, I'm a personal assistant. I'm calling you on a recorded line. Please note that you're being recorded. I wanted to see if I can make a reservation tonight.
So creepy.
So creepy for the restaurant people picking up the phone being like, what?
I'd be like, click.
yeah.
Oh no, they're like, is it okay? You mean we'd have to get like a verbal confirmation?
Oh my
like, is it okay if I record? And they're like,
It's like
no.
a hostess at a restaurant.
Yeah, she's like, no.
By the
no.
end, people just started saying, like, just so you know, I'm calling you on a recorded line to be like, if they talk, they're accepting that. We kind of like, because we were all so tight. It was just so awkward.
Right.
So yeah.
It was so awkward to like be calling these restaurants.
Yeah.
And then, so like some restaurants were very like, like there was a bunch of really big ones. So some of them we'd call like every day. We'd be calling them every day saying, hi, I'm a personal assistant. I'm calling you. Is it okay if I record you? Yes. Is it okay? Do you have a reservation for 15 tonight?
Yeah, like crazy stuff.
And so the restaurant, some of us said, don't ever call us again.
yeah.
Right.
Like,
So we
please
would
do
have
not
a
call.
list of restaurants that it was like,
are
hey,
blacklisted.
are
We were blacklisted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how frequently would you have to respond as Requester and be like, there's no reservations available tonight?
Oh, all the time.
Every day.
Oh, like every day. Yeah.
Every day.
No, I mean,
Nothing
the
was
only-
available. Come on.
Like,
no.
the only, by the way, most restaurants, like, if it's on open table, that's their fucking reservation.
Right.
Yeah.
People think we're gonna like somehow
Magically make it happen.
make a table, like,
Yeah.
And so people
Yeah.
didn't realize that we were bots. They'd just be like, "You're a fucking waste of time," or like, and we'll be like, "Okay, thank you for your feedback." And we had a script. This is what the tone of Requester is, right?
With the Requester tone.
The Requester
And so we
tone.
all talk the same because we're supposed to be a bot. And obviously, why would the bot have a different voice if it's all the same thing?
so creepy.
So we all literally had to respond in the exact same way, the tone.
Right.
The Requester
right.
tone.
Do you remember anything from the script?
Oh, the
Specific-
number one, our catchphrase to this day, it's ingrained in my head. A fun fact: some of our teammates got it tattooed.
No.
Yeah, which is
Hilarious.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. We had coworkers that got it tattooed. But the catchphrase was "I'm on it."
I'm on it.
Exclamation point. Yeah,
I'm on it.
I'm on it. Sure
you'd be
thing.
like-
I'd be happy to help.
Happy to help. Sure thing.
And
I'm
so
on it.
there was also a team of people that were above us, and they also worked 24 hours. So they were their own position. They were basically a QA position, right?
Uh-huh.
So their whole job was to go through every single one of our messages and grade us on how well
Yeah.
we. And that was our
Critique it.
job performance.
Oh my
That's how
God.
they.
That
just-
was literally
that's how
the
they measured
basis of if you
performance.
were fired or not fired. Like
Yeah.
that. So we got graded. Like typos was another thing because bots don't have typos, right?
Right.
So
right.
if you get dinged down 1 point for that.
Right, I
Like,
forgot about that.
yeah. So the QA people would have
Yeah.
to go through and like rate everyone.
Yeah, literally.
And then they also had a 24-hour shift for them as well. So they were kind of like the supervisors, I
Right,
guess.
right.
yeah, in a certain way.
Yeah.
Well, they put the responsibilities of supervisors, even though they're just QA. Yeah, honestly, they had it worse than the people on the ground.
Yeah, they
to
got
be
paid
honest.
more though. They got a
Sure,
bump. They got
I
a bump.
mean,
It
yeah,
wasn't much, but
Yeah, but like
to me,
yeah,
I was like, more money. That
life
sounds
balance,
great.
though.
I applied. I didn't get it. I was a little bit upset.
I didn't apply because I knew I didn't want it. I was like, I don't want this.
You know, someone was like, "Hey, I want to get my coat dry cleaned," and they're in the middle of like bumfuck Minnesota, and they're like, "I want to get my coat dry cleaned," and it's like 11:30
At night.
at night, and I was
Oh.
like, this is not happening. So like I had to like, you know, look up, do all this research and like all of this. And then by the end I was like, I can't find anyone to dry clean your coat. Like, I mean, I had to do it in a tone. It was like, unfortunately, I'm unable to find anyone to dry clean your coat.
But what did you do? Did you like literally?
So I would just say like I had to do all this Googling and stuff like that, and
like what? Like look up dry cleaners.
And I by the
Call
end I was like,
places.
unfortunately, I'm able to find a dry cleaner to do that, and I got dinged and was like, oh, you should always find alternative options for tomorrow morning, and be like, however, here are some options that appeared like are open tomorrow. So you always had to find, like, you can never say, like, I can't help you with that. It was always like, here's another, you always had to give a secondary, like, because that's what, like, you know, a good service is.
Right.
Yeah. One of the most heinous requests that I remember, and that triggered me, was a person that literally asked us to call the front desk of the hotel they were staying in while they were in their guest room. Yeah, like literally there's a phone that goes directly to the desk. Just pick it up and dial 0, and that's all you have to do. And they literally told us, can you tell front desk that this and this? And it's like, what? Like, you just do it yourself. It's easier. It's faster if you did it yourself.
Dang.
And we did it. We called and we're like, hey, guested 1, 2, 3.
Can you send up strawberries?
Yeah, can you do like a blah 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 room 1, 2, 3? Like, yeah, and that
You're on a
and I literally
recorded
was
line.
like, what kind of person does that?
Yeah.
Like, I get.
really wanna know.
They think it's a bot. They think it's a bot. Like,
Oh yeah, but like also like I guess there's this whole like thought process of people, well, not even thought process, but like people's attitude where they don't want to talk to people over the phone.
That's true.
Which is starting to evolve. I've noticed that with recently I was out of the country, and I started realizing that businesses are starting to do that with like WhatsApp, and they have like phone numbers connected, and you can like get a reservation that way. But I
Right.
guess this is like way before that, so it's just like, okay, yeah, let me call the front desk for you while you're in the room, I guess, watching TV.
I mean, everybody wants a personal assistant, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, like some people they milked it. They milked the shit out
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Like people would abuse us
And push it. And they would push it and ask like crazy stuff.
Yeah. No, like, I know, like, at one point, people would send us a list of, like, you know, top 50 restaurants in San Francisco and say, hey, go down every single restaurant on this list and tell me which one has a reservation for 7 p.m. for, you know, 4 people. And for a long time, we did it. And it would take one person, you know, 4 hours. They're going down a list of 50 restaurants.
Yeah.
So then we would have to start implementing limits. Like, you know, the management would have to be like, hey, like, all right, from now on, if a user asks for, you know, a huge chunk of restaurants, they can only ask for 5. So
Yeah,
basically we can
yeah.
respond and say, fortunately, I'm only able to reach out to up to 5.
Yeah.
So we had one user who we particularly definitely really hated. Like there was some users' names that were infamous in the office. Like we would say them and like everyone would be like, oh God,
It's
you
like,
know,
oh.
like blah, 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 just messaged in. It's like,
they're
oh,
at it again. It's like,
they're at it
oh
again.
man, it's 7 a.m. Why?
So this one user that we all hated, she was like, okay, like she sent a list of 50 and we're like, you know, unfortunately we can only help you with up to 5. And she's like, okay, so she sends like 5. And then like the person who had to help her called the 5 and was like, unfortunately, they don't have availability. Okay, can you try this 5?
Oh, smart.
And she just kept going on. And I remember the person who had to help her by the end was like, fuck this lady. I can't stand her. Like,
Yeah.
flipped out. It was just like torturous sometimes.
As a user, I would fully be horrible if I thought it was a robot.
That's the thing.
Like if I knew it was a human.
It's like, how much can we blame them, but
Right.
also
Yeah.
fuck them?
Yeah. And I do remember there was a few times where some people like went too much, and like we had to like reach out to like their managers, and like there was like a whole conversation like, hey, like we saw what you wrote, like you gotta remember this is still like company product. Like,
Okay, so wait, you mean an employee who was using Requester and acting a fool?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to the point where like we had to like report it and be like, hey, this person is like doing this, and this, like why it's a company like product. Why would you think that what you're saying is safe? You know what I mean?
It's
like
never safe.
It's never safe. And so like they got reported, and obviously like HR got involved, and it was like, hey,
what were they doing?
I kind of don't remember. I just remember that happening. I don't really specifically remember what happened, but I think it was like a different
swearing.
shift.
Like they just swear at us.
Or
a
like
lot.
attack you.
Well, a big problem is that like, right, so you write into Requester and say like, I want a haircut at 6. So I call and make the haircut for 6. But let's say the hairdresser or I even accidentally say 5.
Right.
So there's still human error to
100%.
it. So we would fuck things up for people all the time, like flights.
That's the biggest one. I think that to me is like the hugest.
Because we would
like,
book flights for
ball
people.
drop.
That was another thing as well.
Yeah.
So we could send them a charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they wanted us to like book something for them, we could send them a charge, and then they had to pay it, and then we get their money, and then we use our money to buy it.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
No transaction fee or anything. It's like 1-to-1.
One-to-one, yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly how she said it. It's like they would send us the money, then with our company credit card, buy the flight for them, and then send them the information. And then it's like, all right, you're good to go. We would give alerts about check-ins.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's time for you to check in. Here's a hyperlink, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the biggest ball drop that we ever had.
Which happened a lot. We fucked a lot of things
No,
up.
yeah. But this to me is the biggest one. This was like the one that like if I was the user, I'd be furious and I'd just be like, this is total bullshit. Was literally like someone paid for the flight, sent the money, and then someone did not book the flight. And so they showed up at the airport with luggage and everything ready to go. And they were like, you do not have a flight on like, you're not going anywhere. We had to scramble, and it was just kind of like, what happened? What's going on? How do we fix this? And it was like, oh, I guess we're just gonna buy a same day flight for this person. Like,
Right.
they bought it, so it's theirs.
Right.
And it was just the biggest mess. And I was like, wow, I can't believe they let that happen. And then promptly we stopped buying flights for people. Yeah.
Like by the end, we had cut out so many things that we have done wrong. And like by the end, we barely even did anything.
Yeah. Humans are not robots, but they do their best.
I remember someone, you'll probably remember this, someone got a request that was like, hey, can you find me a vegan cake? Fine. Can it be shaped like a human ass?
Oh yeah. It's true.
So there's a guy on the phone calling around going, hi,
Hey.
do you make vegan cakes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you shape one like an ass? And they'd be like, oh, you can? Great. Can you have it ready in an hour?
Oh my god.
Because, you know, this person, everyone would be like, I want it in an hour. Just crazy shit.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, no, okay, on to the next one.
See, oh god.
And it was just... Another big one too was like HIPAA, you know, like medical stuff.
Oh my god. People
So-
ask for medical things.
Yeah,
Just go to
so-
the doctor.
People would send pictures of their rash, and like, you know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would be 9:30 at night, like sitting at my desk, like
Yeah.
hanging out, and just like shows up on my screen.
Yeah. Hey,
like,
requester,
and
look at
it's
this
like
picture.
literally
What's
someone's
going on?
Disgusting leg rash.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what's happening.
Hey,
It
requester,
itches.
like it's itchy. Like, what do I do with it? And we would just have to be like, unfortunately, like due to HIPAA, I'm unable to help you with it. And then people were like, so what if he's like sends the picture back and he's like, so this is my friend's rash. Can you help my friend? It was like, that does not
Yeah.
change. And we would have to keep like answering, and people would keep trying. Like,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Right.
here's
Definitely.
a closer picture.
Literally like feeling out how far can we push this?
Right,
Like literally just trying random things.
And you couldn't just stop responding because
No.
No, you
a
could
robot
never.
would keep going forever.
Yeah. So
exactly.
we would literally have to do it until the person tired out. And some people would go for a solid 10 minutes, just like, you know, keep, because they think it's a robot. It was shit
I
like
mean,
that.
how many of those were just people fucking with you?
Yeah, that we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Right?
Yeah, we'll never know.
I really want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will never know. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember one time someone wanted like a specific sweater. We wanted like a specific Santa Claus sweater, and I guess we would, again, with the corporate card, we would buy something, bill them, and then ship it to their house.
Oh my god.
So we could buy stuff on Amazon. You were like,
Right.
hey, reorder my coffee.
we had Amazon accounts.
We could
right.
reorder coffee, get it shipped to your house. All you do is have to pay for it.
That's pretty sweet.
Are you really saving that much time? There's a buy now button on Amazon. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I remember we ordered a
Yeah,
Santa Claus.
it's not that. Yeah, sorry.
We ordered a Santa Claus sweater, and I think we got it from like AliExpress, I think was it? Or like one of
Something cheap.
and like
cheapo.
I think when it showed up, it was like grandma's little girl sweatshirt or something like that. So I remember like getting a picture, and it was like grandma's little girl, and it was like, hey, I ordered a Santa Claus sweater. Why do I have like a grandma's little girl sweater that came with? And it was like, I mean, we didn't know. We're like,
Yeah, like yeah, it was blind trust though. I think it's a testament to like what's kind of going on now, where like everything is privacy. Like everything is like we were all protecting our privacy, but back then people were like blindly trusting
Totally.
a robot to just do everything for you.
Right.
So it's very interesting to see where we are now.
Yeah. And in the meantime, this technology company is recording all of the information that these people are sending.
That's what I think. Yeah. And they think they're like just like, randomly messaging requester. And it's like, no, that's
Come
all.
on.
There's a team of 3 people being like, hey, look at the shit this guy just asked me.
Literally.
And then we're all laughing.
Despite their best intentions, there were just some things that the humans behind Requester couldn't accomplish. But there was also cool stuff that they did get to do.
There was definitely their positive things where we like set everything up for like really important things. Like one was a proposal. We literally set up an entire proposal. It was at a restaurant. They wanted mariachi to play like their signature song, which is an English pop song. And I was like, they're not gonna be able to sing that. But we talked to them, hired them, talked to the restaurant, get the reservation, like did all the arrangement for it, and it was a huge success. And they sent us pictures, and they were just like, yes, it went really well. There was definitely positive stories, and obviously that's what we were all like, oh my god, like look what we did, like this was great.
We had a lot of we made a ton of reservations. In the program that we use, there would be like a reminder system. So like I could set a reminder for someone else working on the project, like set a reminder at like, let's say midnight, which I'm not working, but I'll set it up so that it pops up on someone who is working screen at midnight to get, let's say, a reservation in London. Call right when they open in London internationally.
That's cool.
So there was some really good uses to it.
It's really cool.
But the AI never learned anything.
Do you guys know what happened? Like,
our theory is it was just a data collection by the end of it.
It was still machine learning, but it was more like tracking conversation patterns, and then the project got sunsetted and it was terminated, and like basically everyone got relocated to different projects, and that was the end of it. And that lasted
overall, I think it was 3 years.
Yeah, close to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty close to 3 years.
They didn't tell you exactly like what went wrong.
We did not know anything.
Yeah, it's so
we got the
weird.
most minimal amount of information they could possibly give
It was
us.
like, keep everything in the dark and just do what you're doing, and like don't worry about it.
Don't ask questions.
Don't worry about it.
Just
like
answer these people and
like
do it.
You guys don't need to be in the room for these decisions. We just need people to work on this.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't in the room, they still saw the end coming.
I would say at the beginning, I feel like we were really busy, and then by the tail end of the project, you actually were not at the tail end of the project.
No, I was left.
actually stuck it out until it was shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. No.
So the stuff just started dwindling down. So we would be working 8-hour shifts and like not doing anything
Yeah.
at all. We might be watching Netflix. I like learned how to knit. I would do my taxes literally so early every single year because I was like, oh,
Right.
this is
Nothing to
everything.
do.
I paid all my bills like the second they appeared because I was like, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
And then by the end, we would just sit around and play board games for hours.
Oh yeah. It was
Hours.
days long board games
Yeah,
too.
we would leave
We just
it.
leave it there and just like, all right, we'll come back, like finish it at the end of the week.
And we would just play Monopoly for like days.
It was just
That was fun. Like, I mean, what better? Sometimes I miss that. Now that I'm working like a real job where I have to think and use my brain, like there's definitely days that I'm like, man, it would be nice to just straight up play board games all
True.
day.
Yeah.
That's how we all knew when it was ending. We're like, yeah, you're literally paying me to sit here for 4 hours without one single thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It dwindled.
It dwindled. Like by the tail end of the project, like no one was using it anymore.
Yeah.
At all.
Were you sad?
No one was sad.
Not a single tear.
No, everyone was.
I think everyone was kinda happy.
We were all like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, it was definitely not a sad thing.
no, everyone was like, this should have happened a year ago.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
Put
like
it out of its misery.
they didn't let anyone go. They found
That's true.
different teams for everyone
moved
to go
everybody
to,
around.
which is actually
That's nice.
really, really nice of them because they easily could have just like cut us
all right,
all.
everyone out. This
Yeah.
one's done. Yeah.
The dream job was over. Those big ambitions had fizzled out. But Jess and Charlie say it was still a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I don't regret it. I
No.
don't regret it working there at all.
I mean, I know I'm never gonna have an experience like that ever again in my
ever
life.
again.
So
True.
the same reason why she probably doesn't regret it, and I don't regret it either, is because it kind of gave everyone an opportunity to get out of the retail world
Right.
and jump into the actual office role.
Right.
Because a lot of people, it was like their first job in an office.
Right.
For
Yep.
a lot of people that came out, like also that came straight out of college.
Yeah, there's a lot of people straight out of college.
Yeah, I think if that role didn't like exist, they probably wouldn't have made that jump.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that look after that, they just never went back to retail
Yeah,
work.
it really did give an opportunity. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
like that was a stepping stone to my next role,
Right.
in the
Same.
tech industry.
Yeah.
For sure,
And
it was my
same for
first,
you, yeah.
first time in tech where
Yeah.
where I wanted to be.
Everyone was really close on the team too.
Yeah.
People made very close friends because everyone was in the same age group of, I would say, like
Yeah.
20 to 40.
30,
Right,
35,
right.
something
So
like that.
everyone would like hang out like on like off time.
There was definitely like a bonding that happened on the team, and then like obviously like frustrations and all the
Yeah.
struggles, and also like all the achievements and things that went well. Like we would just like really have a great experience like that, all of that together. So like it definitely created a lot of friendships. for
yeah,
sure.
like it was in that sense
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Okay, obviously we're not AI experts, but we have questions. How could this have ever worked? And where would we as users have wanted it to go? The part that breaks my brain is that this was like in development for 3 years. Can you guesstimate the amount of money they spent on this thing?
Millions and millions.
Easily
and
millions. Easy millions. I remember one time we did the math, and it was like, oh yeah, like in a year they're spending like $10 million on this idea.
An idea, right?
Yeah.
That literally went nowhere.
I mean, we can all agree if it did somehow work, it would be a like revolutionary idea.
Sure.
But I don't understand how it ever could. Like,
yeah, but how could it ever?
I just don't understand at all.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
think
I-
another thing is that they had acquired a company that was like doing some artificial intelligence stuff.
Yeah.
So they thought that company had this amazing tech.
Yeah.
And this company had this unbelievable tech that they just bought, and they were going to use this tech, and it was going to be revolutionary. So maybe
Yeah.
someone didn't do some background research into what it was.
Well, I feel like they just ran with it, saw where it went, it saw how like trying to scale it worked, and it just didn't work, and that was the end of it. It was like, okay, let's just close it off.
It's just like 3
but
years.
definitely a lot of money was thrown towards it, 100%.
Yeah. How how could an AI ever make a phone call to a restaurant?
Yeah, right. Like that
I
very
mean,
basic step, it couldn't even.
It
do.
kind of exists a little bit though. Like I know Google has developed literally the Google Assistant that can make reservations over the phone for you now.
Yeah, but then it's
100%. Look it up. It's real. They did a whole demo. It calls. It reacts.
I don't believe it, by the way.
I know.
I mean, the
That's how I
demo is
feel.
very convincing. I'm not saying it's foolproof and it works, but because I haven't used it. But the demo, which was released like 2 years ago, it worked fine.
I call it's 2 years ago.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's
call
2 years,
bullshit.
then it probably works better now.
If an AI is calling a restaurant and like says like I want a reservation for 7, and then the restaurant says like, hey, can I put you on hold for 1 second? Is the AI going to be like, oh yeah, I'll hold? Like just the complexity of
knows?
conversation.
Totally, right.
I mean,
I just
to call it AI is it's not AI. It's literally like
not.
it's voice prompt, voice
Yeah,
recognition,
voice
understands,
recognition.
shoots one thing. Like don't call it AI.
Yeah. I mean, what would be cool is just to have the ability for an AI or whatever to like filter your Google search for you, right? Like I think of the woman with the coat, right? To have a feature where like find me all of the dry cleaners, filter by their hours, check their costs, and send me the lowest
and send
one.
you the list. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like that would be
That
helpful.
would be helpful.
I
yeah.
mean, the dream is that you just tell a computer with your voice and it just handles everything and sends it to you.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like
Because
done
you can
and
do all
over.
those things, but you have to manually do it on your phone.
Exactly.
You need an app
Right.
for it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was the vision. I mean, who knows? Maybe in 25 years.
Yeah. There's something else Jess and Charlie got out of this experience. But you met each other
Yeah.
through this
That's
whole
true.
project.
True. Yeah.
That is actually true.
Yeah.
Was
it
there like an immediate love connection or
I remember looking at you and saying, the first time I met you, I was like, you have really nice teeth. That's dead ass.
It's literally what she
That's
said
dead
to
ass the
me.
first thing I said to
Yeah,
him.
nice.
Because I
Yeah.
like teeth. Like, I love people that have like
A good
nice
smile.
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah, say smile. Don't say teeth because it sounds like.
I did say
you're
you
like,
have
oh,
nice
those teeth are
teeth.
so nice.
I want to put them on a
one more
necklace?
for my
And you were like-
collection.
You were like, thanks.
Yeah, I was like, thanks. And I was on my way out. And then I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
You have
Yeah.
great teeth, yeah.
No, yeah.
we tons of people that we still hang out to, like to this day.
Yeah, a lot of flings, a lot of relationships came out of
A
that
lot of
place,
flings,
obviously.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
just so much time. It's it's a crazy experience, to be honest. Yeah.
It was good times, good and weird
Good,
times.
good, weird, bad times. It's all in one.
Begin with a fact.
just so steeped in their own privilege that they couldn't see past their own penis.
When big tech companies need to start up a project like this, they largely do so through contract hires. So the team are actually employees of the contract agency, not the big successful company with its marvelous benefits. For most contract employees, this sucks. Here's just a hint of why.
So the weird thing
2015
is that they had a cap on how long you could work on the project for.
Well,
Oh.
not even on the project. It's just the contracting companies.
Okay,
That's
okay,
how it works.
right,
Oh, yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
Because I think there's like a California law that
Yeah.
says that you can't work in a single role for more than 2 years on contract. You
Yeah,
have to
because
be-
they need to hire you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a job goes on longer than
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years,
So it was weird because there'd be people that have been there for 2 years, and like the day they hit 2 years, they'd
like,
have
"All
to be
right,
like,
thank you."
thanks.
that sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It
It's,
was,
it's part of the terrible contractor culture
Yeah.
in tech right now.
Yeah,
It's-
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
it's really bad. Like, and they would be like people that worked hard on this project for 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because you come in and you're not treating it like I'm a contractor. I'm
No.
treating it like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to excel or to like do something, like, you know what I mean? Like transition
Everyone
over to a
came in
full-time
that way.
role. Everyone came in because obviously it was like an opportunity. I'm here. And it just never panned out. It just literally never panned out. I think
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 people.
One
out
or two
of-
people ended
out
up
of
being like
40 to 50
you know,
people.
The front desk person at the main campus.
Right. So they didn't
There's-
like jump into their dream.
There was
role.
yeah, it wasn't like office to office role. It was
Yeah,
like
it was
they were
like-
part of the company, but it didn't translate directly into
It,
what
like-
they were
yeah.
doing.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a major problem with contract work. 'Cause
It was-
I feel
yeah.
for me, it's different for everybody, but like if I'm in a company, I'm like, I'm an employee of this place.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna work hard, I'm gonna move up here. But they treat you like you're separate.
separate,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're like a
Exactly.
subclass. you
Yeah,
know?
100%.
exactly.
It's
And that's
horrible.
how we all felt. Like,
yeah,
for
because
sure.
the projects when I first started, the project was at their main offices, and then they literally moved us to be the only project in another building.
Yeah, which is like
just
that
full of contractors, and that was the whole thing.
we
It was
felt like shoved.
yeah, it's like no, you guys are separate. You guys go over here. You don't mix and mingle with all the rest of the main office people. So
Yeah.
definitely very toxic, and it just creates terrible work environments.
It
Yeah.
really does. It
And
feels
it was
crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to blame them though, right? Because like they needed heads. Maybe
Yeah.
we all see the big name, so we all think we deserve to have the big job there, but they needed heads for it, really. They just
yeah.
All
needed
they're
people.
doing is getting out of paying you benefits.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck you.
Yeah.
Pay
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Man, it was that was brutal. I was like driving Lyft on the side at one point because
Yeah.
it was like kind of hard to even just get by. Well, it was like I was fine, but I didn't have that extra money that I would love to like save. So I would start
Yeah.
doing stuff on the side, especially
Yeah.
with the weird hours. It would kind of work.
Yeah, my first contract job when I did the jump from like retail into office, I think I was making 25 an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's doable and it's
doable.
tight.
It's
Yes.
tight.
Yep.
It's just tight.
Yeah.
You're measuring everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are
Yeah.
for sure. I'm like, should I make my own soap for my house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
The same problem when they had like the catering food. People were taking trays and trays to take home with them because we weren't getting paid that much, and we didn't get benefits. So I'm just gonna take a meal for dinner, so I never have to pay for food.
Right. I mean,
true.
you know that's not like a livable wage for somebody with children
Oh, no.
or other people they're caring for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, absolutely not.
thank God. Yeah.
I remember one time my entire company went to a Giants game, and I was a contractor. So I look out at my like office space, and all 100 and whatever people are like off with their families at a Giants game, and I'm just like at my desk like,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, this sucks.
I remember that was a big thing too. Is that like
Yeah.
certain people would know a full-time employee and get invited to the holiday party, and then everyone would be
Right.
like, "Did you hear that Robert's at the holiday party?"
Yeah.
I mean, like, who does he know really? Who does he like? It was like he knew the
God.
president. Like
Yeah.
he literally knew the president was at the gala for like the White House.
Yes,
And we're all
yes.
like, oh my God. Like it was
Yeah.
just because we all wanted to be there.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Like-
oh, you're going to see Hillary Clinton
Yes,
speak? Like,
yeah.
cool. I'll just stay here with this spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Jess and Charlie also had lots of ridiculous stories about working in an office. So, as we close out this tale about a ridiculous project at a morally questionable company, we should also remember the little annoyances of office space and office mates.
And then they started getting like mass catering from restaurants.
Okay, right.
So they would go and get like, Chili's fajitas, and they'd get like container, like it would
Yeah.
be stacked to the ceiling of buca de beppo. And then they were like, oh, let's start like a page where people can start commenting how they think about food. And that was the worst thing they could have
Don't
ever
do
done.
that.
There was just like, I'm tired of all the carbs. Where's all the keto and paleo foods?
Yeah,
And
where the
everyone-
greens?
And it was like, everyone was like, it's free food. Why are you complaining?
Oh, man.
Like, if you weren't there in the first 10 minutes when it opened at like 12 o'clock, you were eating tofu because all the meat was gone.
right, of course.
Like, you were
Yeah.
going to be eating tofu.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I like tofu now. All these other teams they moved over, they were flipping out about it. Because, I mean, I understand, like, you sign up to be working on the main campus, and you were, and there's, like, an Indian
like,
restaurant, a
shuttles and
barbecue,
food, yeah.
all this amazing stuff, and then you get shoved to this building that's, like, 15 miles away from the main campus. So everyone, and they were very upset. But
God.
meanwhile, our project were like, oh, we've been here for a while, so welcome.
Yeah.
Like, we're fine with it. And those other people were working 9 to 5, so we were hella jealous. Like,
Yeah.
they're working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Like, God,
Right.
what assholes. Weak. There was like a snack war, like when people in the morning would grab because we had the kitchens with all the free snacks too, and people in the morning would just grab everything. So by the time we came on for our 1 o'clock shift, there was nothing left in there.
True.
And then like you would walk into the kitchen, there's someone with like a backpack literally just taking handfuls of things and shoving it. And so everyone was like, there was so much beef of like, this person's taking all the snacks.
Yeah,
they're filling up
just
their,
very abusive.
Like there was like a lot of people that abused that hard, which just like made it worse for the rest of us because now I couldn't get into my Doritos.
Don't screw your coworkers. Like, fine.
Yeah.
Screw this tech company.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't screw me in the 1 o'clock shift.
And it's like, I couldn't hear at 1 o'clock, so everything was gone.
Yeah, but I mean, that also adds to the whole contractor culture where everyone's an individualist. No one really cares for the other person
dude,
because,
so true.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's literally no motivation to look out for anyone else.
Right. Like, you're not going to take me to the Giants game, so I'm going to eat all the snacks, bitches.
But people would go on the group and be like, hey, there's like a sun reflecting on like the bags of Doritos, so just be careful. Like, this probably moldy and terrible. And it was just like, people got really picky. It's like, it was just bizarre.
There's no way Doritos ever go bad, first of all.
Like, it was just super odd. There was like clicks. Like the morning was a clique.
The team was so big.
And then the afternoon crew was their own clique.
Right.
There was kind of beef between the two. Afternoon would come in at like, 1, and morning crew would like shush us because we'd come in and be like, oh, hey, everyone. And you could just hear like a wave of like, shh.
Because we were on phone calls.
Because we were
and,
on
like,
phone
different
calls because
things.
people were messaging this bot for reservations. So it was like, shh, they're on the phone with Michael Mina trying to get a reservation for 6 tonight at 7 p.m.
Some people took their job very serious.
Yeah, some people took it very seriously. So there was like a walking treadmill next to me, and there was one guy from one of those other teams that would just walk for like 8 hours in flip-flops on that treadmill. Everyone was like, I hate that. We want our old building back. Like, it was just us. And that one guy would be like, flop, flop, clap, clap, flop, 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 flop. And it was like a slow flop.
Oh,
And
man.
like, it was like a workstation, so you could be on the treadmill, and there's like a desk, like a
The
standing
desk
desk,
attached
and it was just
to
like
the
flip,
treadmill.
flop,